In this question, you can see that there is a rod of total length L. So this is a single rod of total length L and it is being bent from its midpoint. The total mass of this rod is M and the total length is L, and it is being bent from this point, and this angle is theta. So we have to find out the moment of inertia of this system about this axis, which is passing through this joint and which is also perpendicular to the plane. So I am marking this axis. So this is the axis. Now we know that if the length of this small rod is small l and this rod is L, and if mass is M and M, then the total moment of inertia of these two rods about this axis is 2 into 1 by 3 ml square, because this axis is passing through the end point of this rod, any single rod, and we know that the moment of inertia of any rod about an axis which is passing through its end point is ml square by 3. So I is equal to 2 by 3 ml square. Now the value of mass m will be m by 2, because m is the total mass of these two rods. So small m is m by 2 and the length L is L by 2. So the value of moment of inertia I would be 2 by 3 m by 2 into L square by 4. So I would be equal to m L square by 12. So the correct answer will be option number C. Now let's move on the next question. In this question, there is a uniform triangular plate of mass m and whose vertex has the length of L by root 2, L by root 2 and L. Now we have to find out the moment of inertia of this plate about an axis which is passing through point B and which is perpendicular to the plane of the plate. Now you can see that this is the axis, and if we imagine a triangle of similar dimensions on 3 of the sides like that, so this would form a square, and for a square plate the moment of inertia about this axis which is passing through its center of mass is I square is equal to m a square by 6, where a is the length of the square, length of the side of the square. So I square in this case would be m square into length is L square by 6. Now we know that this square is symmetrically formed by placing these 4 triangles together, and therefore the moment of inertia of any triangular plate about the same axis, which is this one, would have the same formula as that of the square, and therefore this is m L square by 6. So directly we can say that the moment of inertia of this triangular plate would be m L square by 6 about this axis. Thank you. In this question, you can see that there is a semicircular wire and we have to find out its moment of inertia about an axis which is passing through this point. Okay, so this wire is of non-uniform density, but we know that its total mass is m and its radius is r. So we can directly say that the moment of inertia would be mr square, because the non-uniform density of this semicircular wire is distributed on its circumference, and thus each point of the circumference of this wire is at equal distance from the axis of rotation. So if the mass is distributed non-uniformly also, then also the moment of inertia would remain the same, because if we divide each small particle of the ring into point masses, then we can see that the moment of inertia of each of that point mass about this axis would be mr square. So when we will add up all the moment of inertias of each element, then the total moment of inertia would be mr square, where m would be the mass of the ring. So the correct option would be option number A. Thank you. In this question, we have to find out the moment of inertia of a uniform half disk about an axis which is perpendicular to the plane of the disk, and this axis is also passing through the center of mass of the disk. The mass of the half disk is given as m and its radius is given as r. Now first of all, we have to locate the center of mass of this half disk, and we know that the center of mass of this half disk is at a height of 4r by 3 pi from this point. So x is equal to 4r by 3 pi. So this is the first step to solve this question. Now let us assume that ICOM is the required MOI of this half disk about COM axis. So let us apply the formula for parallel axis theorem. So let us name these axes as this is I dash and this is ICOM. So the moment of inertia, so applying parallel axis theorem, applying parallel axis theorem, I dash would be equal to ICOM plus m into x square. Now the required variable is ICOM, so ICOM is equal to I dash minus mx square. Now the value of I dash is mr square by 2, because we know that by mass distribution property, if we place a similar half disk in the lower half part, then they would combinedly form a bigger disk, and the moment of inertia of this bigger disk about this center of mass would be mr square by 2. So for each half part, the formula of MOI about the same axis would remain the same. Therefore, by this conclusion, I can say that the moment of inertia of this half disk about this axis, which is also perpendicular to the plane of the disk and it is passing through this point, will be mr square by 2. So ICOM will be equal to mr square by 2 minus m into x square, where x is 4r by 3 pi whole square. So this is the moment of inertia of this half disk about an axis which is perpendicular to the plane of the disk, as well as it is passing through the center of mass. Now let's move on the next question. In this question, it is given that IA and IB are the moment of inertias of two solid cylinders A and B, which are identical in geometrical shape and size, and the first one is made up of aluminium and the second one is made up of iron. So we can easily see that if for the same volume the mass of iron cylinder would be greater than the mass of aluminium cylinder, due to the fact that the density of iron is greater than the density of aluminium. So the mass, the moment of inertia depends on the mass of the object, and therefore we can say that the moment of inertia of the cylinder, which is made up of iron, would be greater than the moment of inertia of the cylinder, which is made up of this aluminium. So the correct option would be option number A. Now we move on the next question.